I'm sure you know by now, I'm Dr. Diane Smith. I am so honored to be here at your esteemed university and to tell you all about the ICU, or Intensive Care Unit, and about how important it is for medical treatments globally. However, in order to understand how the ICU became a method of treatment in the first place, I must first tell you the story of a machine so revolutionary it sparked political programs, social movements, and a new type of medical care still used to this day. I'm talking, of course, about the iron lung. Now, the iron lung wasn't solely born of a reaction to the polio virus. Its creation was a journey, and the result triggered a medical reform that paved the way for modern-day ventilators. So, let's start at Harvard University with the studies of Professor Philip Drinker. Dr. Shaw, I have a new development to share. The Consolidated Gas Company and the Electric Company from New York have given us funds to go towards our research in artificial resuscitation. I believe we can use my knowledge so far regarding negative pressure for this project. I know that when taking air out of an otherwise sealed box, it creates a vacuum, pulling outside air inwards. Switching to positive pressure, in turn, causes whatever had been pulled in by the vacuum to be pushed back out. I believe we can use these principles to manipulate the diaphragm into breathing. So, let's get to work. Months of research have led up to this moment. And now that we have the paralyzed cat, let's see how it works. What do you say, Dr. Shaw? It works! Oh, think about it. The first machine ever to breathe for a fully paralyzed creature. This is truly revolutionary right here. Potential for treating polio patients? It could be through the roof. All right, I'll go to the electric company in New York. And I'll then go to the tinsmith and we'll get a box big enough for a man. Then, after only a few more tests, our respirator will be complete and functional. The Boston Children's Hospital knew about our machine and about how well it had done while testing, so they urged us to come quickly to treat a patient. A day after the girl, aged 8 years, was diagnosed with poliomyelitis, she was placed inside our respirator and regained healthy color almost immediately. In her own words, she could breathe bigger inside the tank than outside of it. Though she sadly died, her death was believed to be due to cardiac failure. Examination of the lungs of the patient after death showed no evidence of trauma due to overinflation. So it works. The machine maintained a patient for a full 122 hours without discomfort or apparent harm. This is revolutionary. Treating polio patients will never be the same. Of course, Mr. Drinker was right. Care for polio patients was completely reformed, and the survival rate for polio victims skyrocketed. Though many argue that John H. Emerson was to credit for the widespread success of the machine, since his improvements in design caused it to be very much more popular and more suitable for patients and hospitals. Emerson released his version in 1931, though not without objection. You see, Emerson got various reactions to his iron lung. Not everyone supported its manufacturing. Arguably the most surprising reaction, and the one which caused the most growth for the iron lung, came from Drinker himself. I'm quite frustrated that Emerson decided to copy my machine. Yes, at first he sought my approval, but I plainly told him that I was not interested in redoing it. But still, he violated the law and decided to copy my work anyway. It simply isn't right. Yes, I know that he's selling cheaper versions of my machine. Though he claims to stand for the general welfare of society, that may very well be his true motivation. It simply isn't right. In order to uphold justice, I must sue him since he refuses to back down. After all, I legally obtained 3 patents for my invention. So we go to court. that's it then. Emerson got away with infringing all 3 of my patents solely because the idea for a respirator had been tinkered with for decades. I'll just move on then. That darn machine is just a thing that happened. If Emerson and I hadn't been in that lab, it would never have been invented in the first place. I'll just put it behind me and study industrial hygiene instead. The iron lung is out of my hands now. I'm so grateful to Emerson and Drinker for inventing the iron lung. You know without both their efforts, I would have lost my girl. But seeing as she's paralyzed, I must tell you that we can't stay here. You heard about Warm Springs down in Georgia, yes? It's the best recovery center in the country. FDR has made sure of that. So, farewell, dear sister. I will write you often. We've been so happy here at Warm Springs. There's all sorts of interesting things to do. There's even a pool here. Diane's improvement may be slow, but it is unmistakable. Now that she's able to walk with crutches, the doctors predict she will fully recover the use of her legs one day. And of course, much of Diane's recovery is credited to you, dear sister, not just for always writing, but for your contributions to the March of Dimes. It is truly amazing to see so many Americans coming together to support the youth of our generation. FDR did well to organize such a wonderful program for those who are truly in need. Because of this, every day Diane gets stronger and more curious too. I can hardly keep up with all of her questions. She, though still so young, is asking all about the inventors, Philip Drinker and Lewis Shaw, and how Emerson made his version of the iron lung to be more comfortable. You see, though Drinker doesn't think too highly of his own invention, I would disagree. The iron lung completely revolutionized polio care, and his own bland reaction can't change its impact. Yes, I'm only one parent of one patient that his respirator saved, but the impact is strong. Diane already shows a profound interest in the machines and believes that we're on the brink of a medical reform, especially since funds from the March of Dimes have been going towards developing the new polio vaccine that I've heard is now in use. So, there you have it. I hope this letter finds you well. Thank you always for your gracious support. The future indeed seems bright. And so, that young girl grew into a pulmonologist. And as you see, I absolutely love teaching the next generation about the importance of ICUs and about how they completely changed the medical industry. Truly, the revolutionary iron lung, through its journey of varying reactions, completely reformed the medical industry. I ask you, what would our world look like today? Hospitals everywhere. What would they look like had the machine not managed to manufacture breath? Thank you.